Hello, YouTube. Good evening. This is Uncle Bear tuning in, just doing some more brain dumping. Um, I'm just making this video because a lot's kind of been on my mind in terms of thinking about, the history of Troy and just Greek mythology in general. Um, Making a part two to the first video that I made, speak about whether the Trojans were um, descendants from the Hittites. So I kind of want to talk a little about Greek pride and just my thoughts on it. So, again, one of my favorite movies is Troy, again, with Achilles and gets Hector and movies like 300 with Leonidas and the Brave 300. I think that these are type of stories that basically influence the West and Western culture. To my understanding, Romans um, the Romans were influenced by the Greeks, but the Greeks were also influenced by the Egyptians. So, there's a lot of kind of different history there, but I kind of want to focus on just the Trojans and who their ancestors were. And so, um, I just believe that the stories like the Odyssey influenced like the West and, just Mystery Babylon in general. Shout out to Truth Unedited. I know that some people don't agree with his teachings, but honestly, his teachers have been kind of confirming the dreams and different visions I've been having all my life. So I've been trying to pay attention to him a little bit more. But he's a better teacher as far as uncovering the tares in Christianity and why we believe in what we believe in. And so he's been kind of getting into basically why we worship a Greek Messiah versus a Hebrew one. I think he's done a very good job of explaining that. Um, I've been reading this book. It's called The Witnesses of the 12 Ancestors. Um, Very short read, but I think it's a very powerful read in the sense that if you remember Joseph and the 12 brothers that sold Joseph into slavery, it's talking about those brothers and what they emphasized to their sons before they died. And I think it's just an amazing read because it just kind of makes you, I guess, think about why they banned certain books from the Bible, because they didn't want to stir up an uproar. But um, the thing is, you still can't stop biblical prophecy, no matter how many things you try to cover up or cause confusion. And so, one of the things that I've read out of that book was how the Israelites or Israel was supposed to destroy the Hittites, and instead they intermingled with them. I thought that was very interesting, considering how the Trojans were descendants from the Hittites, and so um, yeah, because based on what I'm kind of gathering from the teachings of Truth Undead and just kind of reading and observing, it sounds like Israel fell out of favor with God because they were just disobedient in terms of not destroying certain people, or destroying all the clans that God told them to destroy. Joshua, when we look at the walls of Jericho, Israel destroyed them because of obedience. Even though it was strange, marching around the walls of Jericho 7 times and 7 days or something like that, and yelling out to the glory of God and just watching the walls crumble. It was the power of Yah and not man, and that's what helped them be known to be set apart. But because in certain situations Israel was disobedient, they still tried to maybe fight different clans in their own strength, and they got defeated. And so usually when you lose wars, other clans look at you as weak or maybe easily conquered, which is why I believe um, Israel were all over time just started getting disrespected and not really respected throughout other nations. Really, other nations seeing them as weak and just easily conquered because they weren't operating in the power of Yah, but in their own strength. And so when it comes to Greek culture, um, I just believe that the sense of pride that we feel in America and in the West in general stems from Greek culture and its pride. And I think one thing that kind of stirred up the pride in Greek culture was a story like the Odyssey, in terms of Achilles defeating Hector and eventually the Greeks defeating the Trojans. Now, when I think about this, and I could be wrong, but when I think about this overall picture, when it comes to trying to figure out why the Greeks don't really respect the Hebrews and maybe why even they hijacked the Hebrew faith and made it to more of a Christian Greek faith, it's just because of the mere lack of respect that they had. And so, what I mean by that is, if the Israelites were instructed to basically wipe out the Hittites but failed to do so, and the Greeks conquered the Hittites or the Trojans, the Greeks automatically see themselves as superior to Israel because they did something that Israel did not do or they failed to do. And so I think that played a huge role in terms of, just choosing a Greek philosophy way versus just following the Torah and what God said. And so, again, I think Truth Unedited, Mr. Ron, did an amazing job in terms of breaking all that down. I don't think I would have figured it out, but he's a great teacher. And I know there's some people that are attacking him right now and disagreeing with him. But for me, I've had a lot of dreams, and I feel like those dreams kind of mimic what he's been preaching and teaching about. But definitely, when I think about scripture, pride comes before a fall. Um, there's also scripture that says that Yah knows those that are pretend to be Jews but aren't, but they're the synagogue of Satan. Like I said, I'm not here to criticize anybody or be anti-Semitic, but I am just here to, you know, just tell my 2 cents on what I think the truth may be and why it's important. Because if you can't figure it out by now, I do believe that we're living in the last days, like we're on the doorstep of it. And there's a lot of people, at least scripture-wise, says that a lot of people will be crying out, "Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy or didn't we do this in your name?" And God will say that, depart from me, I never knew you. So my whole thing is, I want y'all to remember me. That's all I've been asking these last few years and days, just to be remembered, because it's not about not being guilty or being sinless. It's about recognizing who He is and the authority that He carries, and realizing that no man can see y'all unless we go through YAHUSHA. And so that's just um, me just trying to tell my 2 cents on it. I've been getting a lot of just interacting with people on YouTube, and I think that basically, um, there's a lot of people that keep asking me questions. Well, how do you know, and this and that? Just being um, just rude. This is trying to be smart or whatever. But how do you know? So, well, that's why I'm making these videos, because whether you believe it or not, I've been on the other side. I've done a lot of witchcraft. Really, I'm unaware that I was doing it, but it is witchcraft, and it brought nothing but just destruction in my life. And now that I'm learning to hear God's voice for myself, I don't have to put up with those things anymore. So I've been grateful, and I've been just joyful just to be able to come across the truth. Um, I felt like if God had cut me off, or I think I wouldn't be able to comprehend or understand some of these teachings, or have a desire to understand them. But yeah, I think when it comes to the West and American culture, and the reason why they don't really respect African Americans as a whole, I mean, we as African Americans, we can be very petty towards each other, much less other people. For me, it kind of gets on my nerves how we've adopted the culture of just hip hop and basically sports and just entertainers. I mean, some of us are politicians or people of government or people of importance, I guess, but we're just doing what the Gentiles are doing. We're still not doing what we were born to do or what we were created to do, just trying to fit in with the world versus be set apart. And, you know, I'll say this, whether you're a natural bridge or a Gentile, to me, it doesn't matter as long as you're keeping your eyes on Yahusha or Jesus. If you're not, I mean, to each his own, I guess. I mean, me here, I'm not going to debate or argue with those people because, I mean, you've chosen a side and I expect you to stick to that side. And I'm not here to change you. But for the ones that have a heart and, just, there's a party that really wants to know the truth, I'm talking to you. And I'm encouraging you to read and study for yourself. Um, it took me a long time to kind of like put all this thing together to where it made sense for me. So I imagine it might take some time, but I challenge you just to be patient. Be patient with trying to learn God's voice for yourself. Be patient in trying to read the scriptures and understand its origins and the origins of Israel's enemies. And it's not about just waking up and we're these people, because I say all the time that if we were those people, I mean, our ancestors basically crucified Christ, or basically gave Christ over to be crucified, and not just be crucified, but to basically say, let His blood be on us and our children's blood. So there's a curse behind that. He says repeatedly that if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and turn away from their wicked ways, then He'll turn around and heal their land. So when you see all this chaos going around America, a politician's not going to fix it. Humbleness is going to fix it. Going back to Yah is going to fix it. Telling the truth and witnessing on what truth is going to fix it. But Satan has been very busy just keeping people distracted and, you know, basically trying to, you know, um, practice, the arts of witchcraft or focus on everything but Yah pretty much. But regardless, I think going back to the West in terms of its pride, I just think that uh, people in high places have hijacked the faith from Israel, from the children of Israel, and I think that they, through Hellenization, put their own image on it, and they want to be worshipped. They know who God is, and they know who His children are, but they want that power out of jealousy, I guess. I don't know. But to me, prophecy is prophecy. And again, I think if you read this book, um, Joseph's brothers, they went into full detail, at least in this reading, about what their assignment was supposed to do in terms of dealing with, the Gentiles and just the Hittites and all those different clans. And I think that the enemy has been trying to do everything in his power to basically stop that. And I think what we're going to see is that Yahweh's word can't be stopped, no matter how much we try or how much we yell or bitter or bigger towards one another. I'll say this to the people who disagree with everything that I'm saying. You have every right to, but I'll remind you that with all my heart, I believe hell's real. And if you want to check out some other videos, um, I kind of go into detail about that as far as like why I personally believe and how God touched me and told me that hell was real. To me, hell is not jail or prison. It's just not. I mean, in prison you got a way of escape. The way that my grandma used to teach me, she said, there's just no time out in hell. You're gonna be burning and being tormented like every day, all day, 24/7 for eternity. And a trillion years is like a second to eternity. There's just no getting out of there. And so I just really, when I think about the two witnesses, I think about the Yahudim, or the Hebrews, the natural branches, and the Gentiles, who all they're doing is telling the truth on what happened. So whether you're a Gentile, like, I don't know if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian, if you're, you know, um, Caucasian or whatever, all you're doing is just telling the truth on the interactions of the historical interactions between your cultures and the Yahudim. No, we're not niggas. No, we're not, you know, African Americans. Like, we're a nation that y'all is restoring. And me personally, I'm excited because it's just like me personally. I've been feeling like, man, like, who am I? You know, oh, I'm dark skinned. I grew up, being made fun of from other black people about how dark I was. And I'm thinking like, well, what the crap is that? Like, I expect a white person to feel some type of way, but why do my own people feel some type of way? Making fun of you, it just didn't make any sense. Well, it makes sense now because I mean that's a part of the curses. I mean, we despise one another and do each other wrong and stuff, backstab. I heard an interview earlier today from I guess a guy was talking about his interactions in prison, and he was talking to a Hispanic guy, and the Hispanic guy told him, "Hey, come here, let me show you something." Because he was asking the Hispanic guy like why he didn't mess with black people. The whole world knows that we don't do each other right. That's why they don't mess with us. That's why they don't respect us. It's like not only do you believe in a God that you really don't follow instructions from, but you do each other extremely wrong. You don't invest in each other. You turn on each other. You mock each other. And so I believe that y'all during this season is separating the sheep from the goats. If you don't know what that means, I would suggest that you just you know check your attitude as far as which thief are you as far as um, when you're dealing with Christ's crucifixion. Are you the thief to the left or to the right? You're both guilty, but which spirit / attitude are you having in the midst of all that? So just some things to think about, guys. Me, I love history. If there's something like I'm open to correction. I'm just reading and asking questions and trying to figure all those things, for myself and for future loved ones and stuff. So I don't consider myself to be a teacher. I'm just telling, my thoughts on different things and sharing, ideas and just talking because, hey, like, again, not only do I want to make it to heaven, but I want many people that desire to want to go because, again, for me, hell's just no joke. Like, I think if you don't believe me, I think, especially for the people who believe in witchcraft and that whole side, I implore you to go look at John Ramirez videos. Like, you're probably not going to meet a bigger sorcerer than him. And his testimony about going to hell is just amazing. Or, God taking him to hell. And then there's another couple called Life is Spiritual. I think her name's like Mama Isha. Her testimony is amazing too in terms of her working for Satan. And my point is, like, these people are powerful, like, in terms of the form of witchcraft that they've done. I mean, their stories are just amazing. But even in the midst of all that, like, it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it to gain all that, all that money, all the women, all the just lust of the world to just be put in the place of just endless torment. I think John Mayer said it's like a fear that grips you and it won't let you go, like a snake or something. So I mean, I heard many people say that all the tough guys, all the gangsters or whoever that's in and out of prison. I'm not scared of prison. I don't mind going back. I haven't heard, at least yet, someone that's been to hell and they're like, yeah, I want to go back. I've heard people say they don't mind going to hell, but they haven't confess that they actually been there yet. They're just talking at the side of their neck. I'm talking about the people who actually claim to have gone to hell. They all say the same thing, like, I don't want to go back. And so I think that's something to consider. But there's some people that's going to just argue for the sake of it. Me, like I said, I'm not here to argue. I'm just here to, tell my side of the story and what I've heard and what I've seen, and hopefully it makes sense to some of y'all. But yeah, let me know what you think about, just the Trojans and Greek mythology. Like I said, me, because I was so heavy into the zodiac era in my life, I was going by the Cancer zodiac sign, just super heavy, like the water sign, and that attracted me to Poseidon, and like to where I was like kind of worshiping Poseidon in my heart because I kept telling myself, I just love the ocean. I just love it. I feel home there. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just regurgitating some of the spirits put in my heart, pretty much. No, the ocean's beautiful, but it shouldn't be worshiping it like that. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. If you like this content, just remember to subscribe and you know talk to your friends about it, discuss it with your family, see what you all think. Like I said, I'm just here. Like I'm just a server. I'm nobody special or anything. I'm just a guy that's been through a lot and seen a lot of weird stuff, and that's why I'm sharing this stuff with you all to try to get your perspectives and thoughts on it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Until next time, y'all stay blessed and stay prayed up and keep your eyes on y'all. God bless.